So I actually don't wake up as early as people might think. You know, I don't wake up at 4 a.m. And one of the things that I always say is sleep is very important. So exercise is important, looking after yourself, resting is important, but sleep is also very important because sleep allows you to rest. Yeah, like yesterday I had a very long day because of the resource release. So ensuring that you have adequate sleep is important. So in terms of waking up, I generally don't wake up before 5:36. Then I'll do a bit of small exercises. Just have an app. You know, in the tech world, yes. Now you can find everything on your phone. Sure. So I have a Nike app. It has almost 1,000 exercises that have been recorded. Different exercises. You could do strength, flexibility, you know, all that. So I choose a few of the exercise. So I'll do 15, 20 minutes. And by the way, it is probably 3 types of exercise. One could be building your strength without necessarily having weights. One could be flexibility, one could be whatever else. Cardio. So I do that. Then I prepare to go to work. Then on the way to work, because I don't drive myself, I prepare or I look at what is happening and how my day looks like, so that by the time I get to the office, I'm clear. On Monday mornings, we'd have our EXCO meeting. Every week we have EXCO. Then there will be other meetings, mostly any critical meetings that are in the business, with functions, and also external meetings. So a third of my time I would spend with external stakeholders, regulators, stakeholders like dealers, agents, you know, the stakeholders, supporters, supply chain partners, and so on. It could be invites from other places, and then even my exercises are in the diary. So like running, I put it in diary, because what I realize is what you learn from when you're in my role. You realize you don't have a work life and private life. It's all one life, isn't it? So you have to actually have it as one life, because there's no time you could say, oh, now I'm not CEO, now I am here. You know, you get what I mean? So you have to say, and you don't settle in the new role. So you're right that it was a tough settling time. COVID was announced on the, I think, mid-March. And I had just, I think that's the time, I was 2 days close to I was almost locked down, because I came in, I think we summited, or we came from the mountain 2 days before the lockdown. So I had to come by road. Yes, I was saying to people, it would have been very interesting. New CEO of Safaricom lockdown. Transitioning was tough. I hadn't met many of my team. I had met a few, but about 2/3 of them, I met them later, 3 months later, because we had to work on Zoom. I remember my first interview even with some of the other media houses were over the line rather than face to face. So I had to come in, learn the business remotely on Zoom. Luckily in Europe, that's the way I used to work. So it wasn't actually new to me, but I could tell it was very new to the team, because the team was always used to being in the office and all that. So they were also starting to learn. The big benefit of actually transitioning in a crisis is that you avoid all the drama. I was able to learn very quickly. We were meeting every morning. And that's the time I realized just how important Safaricom is. I knew, of course, Safaricom is important, but that's the time we needed to keep the country connected, because everyone was working from home, increase bandwidth at home, start to fast track or accelerate the rollout of 4G, because we were only about 50% 4G coverage at the time when COVID hit. And within a year, we had close to 90%. So we had to actually put these sites up during COVID. And then remember, we have zero-rated transactions on M-Pesa to avoid people using cash, but also to support them during the period. And Arsenal, which is, I can see, I can see I'm not alone. But I think Arsenal supporters require special resilience. It's like the CEO of Safaricom requires resilience. So Arsenal supporters require the same resilience, because I can't remember the last time. I think the last time we won, I don't think M-Pesa was born. So I think it was in the Henry era but Arsenal is my club. It's interesting. It's interesting, to be honest, that I have a very positive approach to life. And my 20s were very positive because I joined a global firm, Pricewaterhouse. I went on secondment very early to the UK. I had the best opportunity of my career. I went to London Business School in the same period. I was able to move function from the accounting side to the consulting side. So I had a very fulfilling career-wise, and I advanced my career very, very quickly. I would say probably the thing that I had, because I was very ambitious in terms of the intensity of what I needed to do, and I had very high standard for myself, and I also saw living abroad. The thing that pushed me was, or the biggest challenge was how I coped, but still delivered what I wanted. Yeah, so that I didn't accept a lower standard. So I was on a work permit in the UK, so you are uncertain about whether your work permit is going to be renewed. So then I had to make sure that I'm performing at the right level at work, so that I could also continue to study, because I was studying and I had to fund my own MBA, so I had to borrow to get a loan. That's a sacrifice that people don't realize, and I made it in my 20s. So I got a loan of £30,000. I paid for my education. So it was, how do I advance in these things that I want to do and still remain in control, so to say. And eventually it paid off big time.
And the final one, what would you advise?
I think the first thing is to focus on yourself, like, especially when you are young, there's a temptation to be like the other person. I want to be like that person, especially in the social media and digital world. I want to dress like him. Can't you see how fast he is advancing? Can't you see, depending on gender, which girl he's attracting, and so on and so forth? Just be comfortable with yourself and be saying, this is what I want, this is me. I want to achieve the following, and be comfortable with it. And then make sacrifices, because like I made a lot of sacrifices when I was in my 20s, financial sacrifices. I was earning a very good salary, but I borrowed money to study for an MBA. I didn't have to. So make the sacrifices that invest in your future, so that you are focusing on improving yourself rather than worrying. There's a guy who was always obsessed with, why is Peter getting this role and the other? I say, don't focus on yourself. We are not competitors. Focus on the type of role you should get, rather than, I want this role. Because if you want a CEO role, there are so many CEOs. If you want one CEO role, then you have a problem. You get what I mean? So focus on what you want, and then shut the noise from others. Don't listen to advice from everyone. Listen to the people you trust, and generally the people will tell you the truth. Because if you don't get people who will tell you the truth, you have a problem. Because people will mislead you and so on and so forth. So it's and mental health show up more because we are trying too much. Because when you are young, what's the downside? In fact, what I've said to some of my nephews and nieces, 1 year, 2 years here and there doesn't make a very big difference. Yeah, career-wise, because you have a long runway in life. So don't worry if you don't get the right university, like if you are applying for a master's, the world has not come to an end. There's always a door shuts, one opens. Africa's leading, purpose-led. Purpose is always going to be important. Purpose-led tech core, not telecommunication. It's a company that provides solutions that solve society challenges. Yeah, and it is known in the same way that, say, M-Pesa is known across the world, that is known for that rather than for the functional products that we sell. And that's why we are involved in stuff like digitizing healthcare. People wonder, why are these fellows involved in something like that? Yeah. Who, if we are not involved, who will? So the government wants to ensure that we have a universal healthcare for all. We need to digitize how everyone accesses healthcare, but also how hospitals are able to treat patients, claim from whatever packages they're entitled to, how drugs move around, how you port your data from one so that you are the same person whether you're in Aga Khan or in a level 2 hospital. It is a continuation of what we have been doing to help the public sector offer services. So we've done it in agriculture with the fertilizer subsidy. We've done it with Inua Jamii. We've done it with the financial inclusion. So healthcare is just one of them.